Okay, so the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern, and we thought it'd be a good chance to check in on some teams doing something we did at the beginning of the year, which is asking what's true and what's a lie about the Contenders, the Tweeners, and the GONERS, because I feel like we kind of, everything's shaped up by now, right? So I figured we'd start off with the Contenders, and I'm going to be surprised if you don't agree with me, but let's just rip through. I think the Contenders right now, as it stands here, headed into
I don't even know
10.
your list. What we got here?
I know, because it's obvious. Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Green Bay Packers. Oh, you have an issue?
Jordan Love isn't healthy at all. He hasn't been healthy all season. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. I wouldn't quite put the Green Bay Packers in contender status, even though, let's be real, everything else is good.
Yeah. Buffalo, I'm a little concerned. Amari Cooper didn't play because he's dealing with a hand-wrist situation. Keon Coleman was getting tests on Monday to figure out what that situation is going to be. So I am a little worried about that receiving group. But Josh Allen will figure it out.
Josh Allen is playing at an unbelievable rate right now. It's actually like fun to watch because they should have lost that game against Miami. They just didn't come out and play really well, and that's sort of why I'm like a little bit wishy-washy on them as a contender. But if they're at full strength, I want to see what Amari Cooper can do. There's a good chance they're in that category.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns at all about Kansas City? Kind of said that to be funny.
No, not one. Look, I broke down Patrick Mahomes' game versus the Raiders, and they're playing tonight, or they played last night. And the Raiders game was his best game offensively that I have seen him. They actually worked DeAndre Hopkins.
Wait, this year, or you mean
this year?
Oh, it was like ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well, not ever, but ever this year. That's what I should say. Ever this year.
Not watch that game, that AFC Championship game?
Yeah. The Chiefs were able to use DeAndre Hopkins in the slot, exactly what you and I were talking about, and found different ways to get him open. And because they did that early in the game, he got all the attention, and then Travis Kelce then had one of his best games of his career. So you see how this works. Like, you take that, I take that. They got to hit Xavier Worthy over the top. Kareem Hunt, workhorse guy. Their defense is playing well. I mean, no, I don't. Let's be real. Are they going to be the first team ever to go 17-0? Because the Dolphins went 16-0. Are they going to be the first team ever to go 17-0? Like, they're just, that's the crazy thing too. Because we had this conversation today, Diana, and the Chiefs haven't even remotely reached their ceiling on what they can be.
I know,
and they're
they
still
know that.
undefeated.
They say it. They're like, let's someone challenge us, please. And that's what's so funny, because you look back at the conversations we had with them in the offseason. They prepare knowing everyone is bringing their best against them, and yet they're still winning. Look, I'm glad you broke down that DeAndre, or at least I'm glad that the DeAndre Hopkins situation is working out exactly the way we saw it coming together, because we were talking about 100%. That, of how they'd use them, and spot on of how we described it. So it's nice when we're right once in a while.
We're right. Every once in a while, we're right.
All right, the Tweeners. These are weird. I have a feeling we're going to debate a little bit on this. All right. So here are the Tweeners, right? Like, they're good, but they're not bad, right? Right in between. You have Washington, the Commanders. How real are they really? Are they going to come back down to earth? The Atlanta Falcons, they're on top of a pretty weak division. The Texans, they're not expected to make any moves at this receiver spot. They did not look very good against the New York Jets. I'm very confused about them. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who we both believe in, but we know that they need to get better on defense if they want to be top contenders in the AFC. So of these teams, Washington, Atlanta, Texans, and Cincinnati, what's the one that gives you pause?
Not Washington. I'm a firm believer and almost put them in contenders. The way they're playing right now, Cliff Kingsbury, the job they're doing, I don't think they're there yet, just because it's the Commanders and we just got to see more of them. Probably, like, I like Atlanta, but Diana, it's probably got to be Cincy. It's between Cincy and Houston. I'll tell you one thing about
Houston,
Cincy.
My Super Bowl prediction.
It's your Super Bowl pick. Let me hit on Cincy real quick, and I know we did it, but it's just that defense, right? That defense, I'm just not sure. Even if they go out and they get somebody in a trade, I'm not sure how they will do. And then the Texans, they are struggling protecting CJ Stroud. And I think that's the biggest issue. It's the second highest snap to pressure rate he's facing in the league right now. And so he's getting the football and he's having to make really quick decisions. And some of those decisions aren't good, therefore leads to interceptions. You lose Diggs for the year. Nico Collins isn't there. You go into the Texans the last time they play and they get embarrassed by Aaron Rodgers and they give up 8 sacks, 20 pressures, all this stuff. It's just, it doesn't feel the same. I don't want to say sophomore slump. But just not what they were last year.
Yeah, they definitely don't appear to have that shine that they did last season. And it seemed like they were all moving in the same direction. It doesn't really feel like that just yet. But this could be one of those stories where it was a little off now, but then they figured out at the right time. Really quick before we move on to the teams that we've lost a lot of hope in. Going back to Cincy really quick. This is not happening, okay? But what if I said to you, all right, they did make a trade, and it's for Max Crosby. Now, do you believe in them?
No.
Oh, my God. Okay.
They have Trey Henderson leads the league in sacks. Diana. Why do they need another person that lead the league in sacks?
They
need a run stop. They need a run stopper defensive tackle, like a big 350-pound guy.
Yeah.
That can plug holes and blocks and stuff like that. And then, I mean,
what if they could get DJ Reed from the Jets?
Done. Contender.
Yeah, they're not dealing with
him.
They're not dealing with him.
Say those things.
They got a lot of calls. People called New York for him, but they
He's a good player, man.
they weren't very interested. After they beat the Texans, everything changed in New York. They got a lot of calls on Garrett Wilson too.
You know who they really need and who's untouchable, I'm guessing, because he's the best player in all of football that no one's talking about right now for the New York Giants, Dexter Lawrence.
Oh
he
my
is
gosh.
Unbelievable what he is doing.
I remember talking to Wake Martindale at the Combine, and I was trying to have a conversation with him about a different topic, and he just kept talking about Dex. Like, he kept bringing me back to Dexter. And I was like,
unreal.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. But he just kept going and going. And I know Wink's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But his belief in his young player at the time, and obviously what Dexter's turned into, is just phenomenal. All right, the Goners. Speaking of the Giants.
Let me guess. The Cowboys. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, but let's rip through. Yeah. So I got the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, and the Cowboys as Goners.
Jets, Giants, Cowboys.
Okay,
so
the Raiders.
Jets. Okay.
Well, they won Thursday night against the Texans, but do we really think they know what they are? Like, they just are getting by in some of these. Raiders, we talked a lot about. We kind of know that situation. They don't have a quarterback. That's a mess. Cowboys 3-5. They've got the Eagles, the Texans, and the Commanders. Dak's out. We don't know what the situation is there. What do you got? I mean, Jerry Jones thinks they're still in.
Yeah, of course he does. Jerry Jones thought they were all in when he signed for a long freaking snapper. Didn't sign Derrick Henry. This is ridiculous. It's a complete organizational failure, if I'm being completely honest. Like, from the top, like, someone asked me today, who deserves the blame for how the season went? And I said, every single person that has touched that team, from Jerry Jones to Mike McCarthy to Dak Prescott to the players. How do you have your second third down of the game? You're winning 3-0, and you're playing Atlanta. You have 10 people on the field for the second third down in the game. They motion over Bijan Robinson. You don't chase. They get a first down, 7 yards. Then the very next play, a touchdown. Like, how are you not coached? Why aren't these players saying something? I don't get it. It's an organizational failure to the highest. Start Trey Lance, Dak, sit him on the ice for the rest of the year. You ain't making the playoffs. See what you got. He's an unrestricted free agent next year. Let him make some money.
So you're just like, put Trey Lance out there?
Done.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You play
No
Trey
way
Lance.
Dak's going to come back. I guarantee. No way Dak's wanting to come back.
Wow. You don't think Dak Prescott is going to come back because you think he knows what this season is?
Yep. And a hamstring and a thumb. Why would you? Okay, if they go 3-8, why are you? And Dak can come back. Why are you coming back?
Because he's a competitor. Because he's Dak.
Look. I would want to, but at the same time, it's a business decision, man. $60 million a year. That's real, and that happens in the National Football League.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Trey Lance gets a shot out there. By the way, I wrote a column on Saturday, and I was just mentioning how, like, Charlotte Jones was in that ridiculous car accident on the way to the Niners game. People were so mad I mentioned it.
Why?
I don't know. They were like, why? Who cares? She sat in the owner's suite. She fractured her rib and sat through the game. Have you ever fractured your rib before?
Women's pain no, yeah, I have. It hurts.
I did.
Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze.
Don't sneeze. Don't cough. Don't giggle. Don't do anything. Just
women's pain tolerance is on another level. As soon as I saw my wife give birth to 3 kids, I was like, I am such a punk. Like, I am just like...
Yep, you can say that again.
Whole nother appreciation.
Thanks for tuning into Scoop City. If you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe. We drop our new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.